All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Late Night Shots Podcast, episode 70 right now. For the first time in a while, we have on a guest again. We have three-time NAIA champion Brandon Reed.
What's up, guys?
What's up, man? First things first, you just won your third national title recently, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. It was
Yeah.
fun.
I think you were probably one of the most requested guys to have on this podcast. And I know you kind of like just deleted Instagram for a while and you were just kind of like, just focusing on yourself at that point, which I get it. But it's
Yeah,
nice to have you back. I saw that you got your Instagram account back, so I just hit you up immediately.
yeah. I definitely needed to. I just needed to escape for a little bit, so
Yeah,
I did.
yeah. What is it? Just like you just want to like focus like on life and everything, or just
Yeah, it was. I had a lot going on, and I just needed to get away from everything. And it was my last season too, so I did
yeah.
that, and it just made me feel a lot better.
Mhm.
So
So I know we just literally just talked about this, but this year was technically a free year, right? So
yeah,
if you have the opportunity to come back next year, you already said you're not going to, but do you think you would? There's any chance you could take it and possibly cement yourself as a four timer?
there's no chance for me. I just this year I dedicated to my dead teammate. He passed away this Christmas, and for me, it was it was the perfect ending. I held his shirt up after I won nationals, and I was like, this is it. So
Yeah,
for me, it was just the perfect ending.
yeah, I know that's great. You just got like the fairy tale ending. Like not many people, get that.
Yeah,
I think one person you're looking at who may retire this year, Jordan Burroughs, right?
yeah,
If there's
yeah,
anybody that deserves to go out with the Olympic gold, his
it's him.
name has to be first in that list, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, my teammates are just, my God. All right, I was trying to look at the timer. My teammates just spamming the group chat about stuff. But yeah,
yeah,
even if we get into this, next up we have the Olympic trials. Oh, I know you trained
yeah.
with Mason Paris a lot too. So, obviously,
That's
I'm assuming here's your pick for the trials.
he's definitely my
Mhm.
pick, one thousand
Yeah.
percent.
So, like a lot of NAIA guys don't really have the access to the best training partners, coaching in general. But, Mason Paris is, I know he gets a lot of hate because he just lost Gable Steveson, but, that's like people want to say like Gable Stevenson's not the best there is right now. So,
Yeah,
like,
it is what it is. I mean, he lost to
yeah,
Gable, but I mean, people talk, but they don't wrestle Mason. So
yeah.
you know,
I'm like, even I was on that a little bit, but like that was just because like I knew at the end of the day I want to grow my page and like
yeah,
you
yeah,
got
yeah.
to you got to post tweets at the end of the day. But like I saw guys literally go into Mason Paris's Instagram and like coming at him like that's just petty at that point.
Yeah,
Like
it's stupid for me.
yeah,
It's stupid.
yeah. If you saw those, remember the Maryland kids, right? That Gable was wrestling. Yeah, that
Mhm.
it's like people want to, call them fishes. Obviously they're not the greatest wrestlers; they're walk-ons. But
Yeah,
how many of these guys would actually have the balls to go out there and wrestle them?
yeah, barely any.
Yeah,
It's kind of pathetic.
yeah. Like I know they're not the greatest, but I'm never gonna be the guy to come out there and like openly talk trash about them for the sole fact that like I know for a fact that if I had to go there against Gable Steveson, I get dropped on my head. Mason Paris dropped me on my head, and same with Tony Cassiope at that point. Those are literally the three greatest guys there are out there right now.
Yeah, 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 I, yeah, definitely Mason and Gable. I
Yeah,
think they're just on their own level, man.
yeah.
So
Yeah, if Gable walks away from wrestling after this year, the weight class is going to be open to Gwiz, Paris, and Kirk right there.
man,
It's gonna be great.
yeah, I think man, I don't see him walking away. I don't think he's going to. I think he's
Yeah,
bluffing.
I think there has to be someone that can keep him in the sport. Whether it's Brent
Yeah,
Negum, whether it's like Jordan Burroughs at this point.
something.
Yeah,
He's gonna stay. I can feel it.
yeah,
I don't know. I think
yeah.
he's playing.
So I think the last thing I want to talk about before we go like over like your entire career would be, you know, second national title, you beat Tanner Farmer in the national finals in
Yeah,
overtime, right? You hit
yeah,
probably one of the. I remember it was like a stutter fake to like a Polish lat drop.
yeah,
Hands down, like the sexiest move I've ever seen. I don't even know how to like explain. It was like it was beautiful
yeah.
just to watch. But he's into the Olympic trials now. Is he a guy you're gonna be watching a little bit? And like I don't know if you guys are friends or not, or like don't like each other.
No, yeah. We're cool. I actually messaged him the other day and told him like, "Good luck, man, and like
Yeah,
congratulations." He's a really awesome guy. Really, really, really nice guy.
yeah,
Of course, when we were wrestling, I didn't like him, but
yeah,
it's how it is.
yeah. It was. I think that was the only one of your matches I could really find online, which is crazy.
I know it's tough,
Yeah,
but it's cool. I mean, it's probably the most for me, probably my favorite college match ever.
yeah.
So
I know I have a lot of friends that like because I wrestle D2 at Shippensburg University in Pennsylvania. I pretty much you were literally the most known name that's not D1.
really,
Yeah, and that's insane to think about because like again like your freshman season you got on the podium at heavyweight, which is just an accomplishment at that. What people don't realize. I know everybody's coming
yeah,
at Gable because he placed third, Paris because he didn't place and all that. But freshman All Americans at a heavyweight class is actually like insane to think about.
yeah.
And then
Wrestling grown men.
yeah, it's like I didn't believe that. Like I was on that a little bit. Then I got to college and I'm like, oh, I feel like a JV freshman again, just starting this off. And you got to work your way up
Yeah,
from there. It's like wow. Because I remember,
that's real.
yeah, I saw this podcast with Anthony Ashnault. Like that's one of the greatest wrestlers in New Jersey history, and he's out there
Hmm.
losing in the Rutgers wrestling room every day as a freshman.
Hmm.
It's just insane to think about, right? So
It's tough. It's
yeah,
just tough. It's a different level.
yeah. So what matches are you most excited for? At the Olympic trials.
For me, the number one that comes to my mind is I'm a huge Kyle Snyder fan.
Hmm.
So like that's probably my favorite wrestler
Yeah,
ever. And so Snyder versus Cox. Of course, Mason's my boy. So I'm really excited to see him and Gwiz or him and Gable.
yeah. I think him
Uh,
versus Kirkfleet in the first round is gonna be a great match too,
I
because
think
Kirk's
he's gonna
healthy
smash.
now. I mean, I'm a Penn State fan. I can't say that, but at the end of the day, he wasn't healthy at Big Tens. He's healthy now. I think. I think it's a
Yeah,
competitive match. I would have to say Mason Paris takes that, but I
yeah.
wouldn't be opposed to seeing Kirk win.
Uh, I would
Yeah, I
personally.
know. I feel you. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean that should be a great first round match. I think Mason and Gable are on their
mhm,
own level.
yeah,
Honestly, Wiz too. Obviously, he
mhm,
he beat Mason. Also, Kirk's really great. Kirk's amazing. He was. I really liked watching him wrestle,
mhm,
especially in high school.
yeah,
But I don't think he's there yet. I don't think he
yeah.
competes.
And again, even with that, it just happens because he's young. In the weight class
He is.
Gable was wrestling in with Kassar was probably one of the weaker heavyweight weight classes. I think
Yeah,
Kirk
it
placed
was.
in. I think I would say Kirk was number 5, even though he placed 7th because he lost to Schultz in that match, right? I would say
Yes,
5th place in this weight class is better than Gable's 3rd place finish in that weight class.
I agree. That weight class did suck. It was
It's
horrible that
like,
year.
yeah. And Kirkley's the only guy to take Gable down this season, too.
That's true. He
That,
did
that,
have a nice take.
it was nice. But, I think Paris, if he just changes a couple things, watches out for transitional offense, this match could be his to take. Like, and especially
I think
threatening
so.
4 points with the dump. Like, I know people are
Yeah.
just saying, "Oh, Gable, Gable, Gable." Like Gable has historically, had troubles with gas tank and volume shooters, and a guy who can play the edge very well is gonna
Hmm.
possibly threaten him, right?
I think so. I
But
think that's why Gwiz is scary, man. I think Gwiz is he's a
yeah,
sleeper.
and then the
What you
best out of
said.
the 3 too is like it,
Yeah, I
it could
got
very
Gwiz.
well go either way. So I know you talked about Kyle Snyder versus Jaden Cox. Again, I wasn't the biggest fan of Kyle Snyder when I started wrestling, just because I didn't like the super small guys, because I was just never one of those, and I could just never do
Yeah.
stuff they did. And it just
Um.
came to the point where like it would be annoying just having guys on your ankles the entire time,
Hmm.
and then but watching him wrestle, it's like I know people are hyping up Jaden Cox. It looks like Snyder could Snyder looks like the favorite, to be honest. There, like, you
I
know,
think so too, man. I think by
like,
a
yeah,
long shot,
yeah.
honestly.
And the problem with that is like the only matchup they have in common is a 6-1 win over Nate Jackson. That just makes it more interesting, right there.
That is, and they haven't wrestled since what, freshman year of college for Snyder.
And then yeah,
And
sophomore year for Cox.
yeah,
Cox was a huge favorite there also, which people don't talk about.
yeah,
Snyder's
and
been the
Snyder
one
got
guy. Yeah, Snyder's been the one guy to be able to neutralize his offense, and chances are it's going to be like a 1-0 match every single time. And if Snyder scores a takedown, it's going to be a long day for Jaden Cox right there.
I think so too. Man, I just can't see Jaden beating him. I just
Yeah.
can't. I separation.
And another match I want to talk about, I don't know if you looked into this or not, but Colin Moore has the 1 seed in the challenge tournament,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You may have seen it, may have not, but Colin Moore was a freshman and Jaden Cox was a senior, I think it was. They
I
wrestled
saw it. He
6-4
had that nice
match.
drag. Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I seen that. Yeah,
Yeah. That takedown was beautiful. I know not many people are going to say, oh, Cox at a new level, but Colin Moore's been tearing it up on the international scene too. Like
yes.
I don't
He's a
think
beast.
anybody here is a lock.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I would like to see Colin. I love Ohio State. Like
Mm-hmm.
if anyone asks me, my favorite Division One team is,
Yeah.
it's Ohio State, USC for sure. And I think I hope Colin Moore upsets Jaden Cox, but I don't
Yeah.
see it happening.
Yeah. I mean, I also don't see Jaden running through him like people are talking about, Again, Moore
No,
hasn't had
definitely.
the greatest college career. He's like the one guy you truly feel bad for about the year off because he's been so
Yeah,
close so many times. This looks like the one year he's about to get it. And
I know.
a guy like Mark Hall already got his title, Chen's already got his title, all that. It's like Moore was like the one definite lock that year. And it's
He
just
was
like,
the greatest.
yeah,
Yes.
it's just like sad to see that happen too. But wrestling with what's his Coach Myers or something like that he practiced with, yeah, he's looking like a force at 97.
I think so
Like
too. He's looking big.
yeah, it's incredible. But yeah, so I think this time to hop into like your career. So high school, if you just want to like briefly
Yeah,
what happened there.
yeah. So I started wrestling in high school. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I was a ninth grader when I started wrestling. So the story goes is like I tried to join the football team. I didn't make it. So the defensive coordinator Gary Cole, he offered to let me wrestle, and I started wrestling. I lost a bunch of weight. I was 270, and then I got down to 220. So I started wrestling. My first year of wrestling, I was 4-14, and
Varsity?
you know,
Was it on varsity
yeah,
or?
yeah,
All right.
yeah, varsity. Our school wasn't very big. I'm from
Mhm.
Kentucky, so
Yeah.
the wrestling's not incredibly prominent
Mm-hmm.
here. Yeah, so I was 4-14 my freshman year. The next year, my sophomore year, I was, I guess, like 40 and 5 or something like that.
Whoa.
And
You went from 4-14 to 40-5.
yeah,
So what do
one
you
year.
think
And
really changed between those years, just in general?
I trained a lot during the summer,
Mm-hmm.
so I fell in love with wrestling, and there was a guy named Grant Ullman. He was a state champ, and he was at one of the private schools in my area, and we somehow got connected through wrestling, as it happens, and he offered to train me for free, like 3 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
and so he would pick me up. We would go train 3 times a week, and that was the whole summer. And then coming back, I got really good at the stuff he taught me, and ended up making it to state finals, and that's why I was 40-5.
Yeah.
That year I lost to Austin Myers there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know who that is, but
Yeah, I do. I've heard of him. He was good.
yeah, he was good.
So I have a follow-up question on this, right? So you see a lot of these high school kids, you have some kids, you have the smaller kids who are blessed with athleticism. If you ever saw Jaden Cox wrestle heavyweight in high school, right? You have these
Mhm.
bigger kids like Seth Neville's, like their whole family, Adam Kuhn in high school,
Mhm.
who would just body you because they're freaks of nature. And then you have
Yeah.
these kids like, say, I'm assuming yourself freshman year, like did you always know the natural talent was there? You just had to put in a little bit of work and like uncover that, or was it just like
Yeah.
you were like that slob of a person, and then you just shaped yourself into what you are today?
I think I had a lot of natural talent for sure. Like I feel like I was always pretty explosive and always pretty fast. And whenever I lost all of that weight, it just, it's like I committed my mindset to being that type of like wrestler.
Mhm.
So like from like that young age, so I had the natural talent, and then like yeah, like you said, I really embraced that like style when I was like younger. So that's kind of where I am now because of
Yeah.
it.
So you went 40-5 as a sophomore after going 4-14. Like that's something really you only see at like a heavyweight class just in general. Because
For sure.
I mean, yeah, that's insane just in general. But in that weight class, what are you, a 14-year-old kid at that point competing with like 18, 19-year-old grown men, like all the way at the top?
Yes.
I know I would say Jersey is an example, but we had a freshman just win the state title, Jimmy Mullen, last season. 15-year-old
Mm-hmm.
freshman comes out. He was expected to be a pick, but he was the 13th seed coming to state.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, I think his closest match was a 7-3 decision in state finals.
Dang.
And now he's ranked
Like
number one
smack.
in the country. Like that, it's absolutely insane. And like,
That is insane.
yeah, it's like he was bred from a young age to be a heavyweight, and that's like he's not like overly jacked or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't see like these upper weights chain wrestling so well until you get to the college level.
It's
Like if a guy
true. It's
shoots on you and you try to sit the corner on them in high school, like they don't know what to do.
They have no idea.
Yeah,
They don't know how to hand fight either.
yeah.
That's a yeah. That's it.
I think that helped me a lot coming into college because like I ran this page, like I see so much wrestling on a daily basis, like to the point where like I have so much situational awareness
Mm-hmm.
that like even when I don't train stuff, like I know what to do in every position. So I have like a general
Yeah.
basis of knowing how to survive situations. Because I went 26-10 my senior year. Obviously I threw away a couple
Mm-hmm.
matches that I should have won, but coming into college, like I have like a whole ass Pennsylvania state champ who's 2 years older than me that I'm wrestling. On paper it
Every
looks
day.
like he should bully me, right? And then I'm out here like we're doing 1 minute goes. I'm like, okay, he's just taking me down, but I'm making him work for it. Like I'm putting him in different positions that he's normally not put in.
Yeah.
Like those are the ways
Yeah.
you have to win matches in college.
That is. College is a lot different. Like my technical level is insanely different than when I was in high
Yeah,
school.
that's like absolutely insane. Because I know you were talking about that one guy that you got to meet up with. He would train you for free, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So when I first started this podcast, like I was just doing it with like guys who subscribed to me because I would think like there's no real chance like any of these high level guys would actually want to come on and talk to a 17-year-old kid, right?
Yeah.
But then I realized my platform, like Don Bradley reached out to me, right? He's like, "Hey, I love your podcast." I'm like, "You want to come on for an episode?" I talked to 2 hours, and I get to pick the brain like of a guy who's been on that level. Like he's going to third Olympic trials right now. He's probably one of
He's
the
a
smartest
beast.
guys in that scene, and that just seems like surreal to me. Just getting those experiences.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome, man.
Yeah. Dude, I put out an
I
April
feel
Fool's thing today morning that I was
yeah, I
selling the
saw that.
page. Yeah, I
I
lost
saw
like 7 or 8 followers, but I'm keeping it up.
that. Yeah, it's like don't sell your page. I think you're probably within like a year or 2 years, your page is gonna be super, super huge.
Yeah,
I can
I
feel
hope
it.
so. Like I've been uploading like 10 times a day now.
Yeah, dude. You're working.
Yeah,
You've been working.
yeah. My goal again at the end of the day is to run a successful YouTube channel, maybe run a store. Make enough to make a living off of this page so I can just, you said you're gonna become a coach after college, right? You get to do what you love as a job.
Yeah,
That's essentially what I
exactly.
want to do. And again,
Yeah.
it's a long shot at this point, but hopefully it happens.
Good things only happen to people who are persistent.
Yeah.
So
I'm open, man. But yeah. So going into your junior year of high school,
yeah, yeah.
how did it?
So junior year of high school, I did pretty good. I was what was it? I was 38-0 going into state, and
Mhm.
then I lost. I got upset in the quarters. Some guy just rolled legs on me, and I had no idea what to do. And so I lost by a stalling call, like a stalling point. I lost.
Mhm.
Obviously, I wrestled back and placed third. It was a crazy year, to be honest.
Did
But
the guy you lost to, did he win?
yeah, he won state. His name was Garrett Chandler. He's from Mel High School in Kentucky,
Mm.
and he was. I mean, he was a decent wrestler. He wasn't very good, I guess, but he wasn't bad either. He just no one got a takedown in the match, and he just rolled legs on me. And you know how it is, like high school heavyweights. You know,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
non-elite ones were just like, how the hell do I how do I react when someone got legs in on me?
Yeah.
And I didn't have the greatest coaching.
Yeah, and this is a trend you're seeing like a lot more at the college level, like heavyweights riding legs, you know? I think one of the most obvious ones is Trent Hilger from Wisconsin.
Yeah,
And
the Thor.
yeah, dude, like he probably has to be one of the most underrated guys right now. And same with Orndorff from Ohio State.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah, man.
remember,
I don't see how Trent Hilger's underrated. It's
yeah, he
crazy.
was,
People,
yeah. It's like you take one loss to Luke Luffman, you know, that loss was essentially decided off of a stalling call, off a guy who's just waving at your legs, right? I think
mm,
that's one of the things that I don't like about the college rules, but again, it's kind of whatever. It's like guys can wave at your legs and just walk forward just because it's a heavyweight, right? Like
it's
guys at that
enough.
level know how to shoot, know how to get below the ankles at the D1 level, right? Waving at your leg should
Yeah,
not count as a shot because you're essentially just pushing them out of bounds with no intention to
exactly.
score. So it's like, and you know, he
It's pretty
comes
sad.
back dominantly because, you know, I remember I made this statement that guys are all Americans because they show up in March, not because they wrestle to an elite level the entire season.
Yeah,
And you saw that with a lot of guys. You know, what's his name? Jordan Wood did an All American, and that was probably the craziest one to me.
that
Now
was
he's in.
super crazy.
Yeah, I remember he got the Air Force guy Wyatt Hendrickson. You know, I was watching the first round. He pinned Luffman from Illinois in like under a minute, and
Mm,
then he was giving Gable Steveson a solid fight. So I was
yeah,
like, he tossed Jordan Wood on his back for 6, and then Wood couldn't make the comeback, and then that was like, wow.
it's hard
Yeah,
to make that comeback.
it's just unlucky, right? You know, I'm not sure if you know these guys, but yeah, Christian Lance and Zach
Yeah,
Elam from Mizzou. Yeah, I'm not sure if
I
you keep up
wrestled.
with.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
remember. I thought
wrestled
with Zon
some.
Bradley, like he was telling me like how wild of a match that was. Like you were storming to make like an insane comeback. It was like a 12-15 match or something like that.
Yeah, it was. I took him down like 5 times in the second and third
Yeah,
period.
that's insane. I remember the one thing when I looked at you, I'm like, how's this dude not like a D1 All American by now? And this is like before I knew anything like about you, because when I started this page, all I knew was Adam Kuhn, Kyle Snyder, Gable Steveson. That was literally it.
Yeah,
And then I got opened up to more and more about this, and I'm like, wow, there's so much more of this than I actually thought.
there is, man.
Yeah. So senior
Yeah, that
year.
yeah, senior year. So senior year, I didn't wrestle. Actually, I transferred to a school called Spencer County,
Mhm.
and I moved in with my high school coach, Coach McKenna, and this was actually in People's Magazine or whatever. They talked about it, I guess, a few years ago. And I moved in with him so I could go train, get better training and stuff and prepare for Fargo and stuff. But in Kentucky, there's a rule that if you move and it's not with your legal parents, then you're not allowed to wrestle. So me and him kind of weighed out the options, and we were like, state title or place at Fargo, get a full ride to college.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I want to place at Fargo. It's one of my biggest goals, whatever. And so I moved with him, started training there. Got to train with a lot of good guys, well, Kentucky good guys, and I just had lots of like opportunities to go train. And thankfully, because of the location, and I ended up placing 7th in freestyle at Fargo that year.
Okay.
And I never got to wrestle that. I didn't wrestle state that year. So
Yeah. Something banging on my door right now. All right, give me like half a second. I'm just gonna check the door real quick. All right.
yeah,
right, my bad about that. I got to cut that out of the podcast now. That was my RA.
That's good.
Yeah.
You're totally good.
All right. Yeah. We were senior year of high school. Seventh at Fargo. That's pretty good. Like, were there any notable guys in your weight class that year?
Uh, Let me think. Yeah. Wait a second. I think Cassiope,
Mhm.
Brandon Metz. Uh, yeah, Cassiope won. Brandon Metz got second. Who else? I mean, I guess I don't really remember the other guys. Paul Robinson from Georgia, he was pretty good. Um, Other than that, Austin, dang, what was his name? I don't know. I can't remember. I know Cassiope and Brandon Metz were
Mhm.
two guys that were.
Was Austin Marsden?
Uh,
Or no, was that a little bit older?
yeah, he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
It was a guy who wrestled at Nebraska. He's one of their backups now. Austin something.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. So
Anyways,
really only two.
yeah.
Really
So
two.
again,
Yeah.
yeah, Mets is like, he's at the D1 level is top 32 in the country, right? I
Yeah.
don't think he was gonna make it any further than that, but Cassiope, people forget how good Cassiope actually is, just because he's
He's really
technically
good.
a tier two heavyweight, if you could even say that at this point.
Yeah.
It's just
He's really.
yeah. Like now I see like his style is evolving. Like, before it was just like the wrist roll and then snatch
Mm,
single.
snap.
Now you see him hitting knees, being able to scramble. And
Mm,
it's not just the smaller guys that are evolving, it's like the bigger guys too.
hmm
And that's
He's
something,
awesome, man.
yeah. Like, the fact that he didn't qualify for the Olympic trials is like kind of sucks, but
It's whatever. It is
yeah.
what it is.
He's going to be there in 2024, when guys like
Yeah.
Don Bradley, Tony Nelson, I'm assuming Tony and Dom are probably going to announce their retirement if they don't take the spot.
I would probably hope so. They're getting a
Yeah.
little old.
Yeah. I know Dom said he was just in this because, he just wants to wrestle. And given his 4 seed, like Gwizdowski's a winnable match for him. Like we've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, he's beat him once, I think, like
Yeah.
back in 2000 or something.
I think he's beaten him a good amount of times. He almost teched him, I think, the one time.
Dang, I
Yeah,
didn't know
and
that.
at the Flow Wrestling America's Cup, I think it was, Gwizdowski beat him 3-0.
Yeah, that was
And
super close.
that Gwizdowski I saw that day was a lot better than the Gwizdowski I saw versus Mason Paris and Gable Stevenson at the RTC Cup.
Yeah, I kind of always wonder what goes on in Gwiz's mind.
Yeah.
He's pretty inconsistent, like the way he wrestles.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, that's a win for Gwiz because he qualified the spot. He has the 1 seed locked up.
Mm,
My thought process was he would want to get a match against Paris, Gable, Dom. I think Tony would be a little bit easier of a matchup for him just because style wise, Tony doesn't present like any immediate threats. But
no,
he had
they
the
wrestled actually. Yeah, they wrestled at Iowa the Hawkeye Wrestling Club event.
Oh, that was
Cassiope and
Cassiope. Yeah, I mean, again, Cassiope's good, but Gwiz is just a guy who's gonna essentially take advantage of everything Cassiope has.
yeah,
Tony
basically.
Nelson, Gwiz matches up great against him. What really surprised me
Mm,
is if you ever watch the Nittany Lion wrestling cards, right, that they put on the
yeah, yeah.
Rockfin, it was Wolfpack versus Penn State. So this is when the thought process started going through my mind. Gwizdowski didn't wrestle correctly in that.
Yeah, he
And
didn't.
so I because, at the end of the day, like, theoretically, I would say the top 6 guys in the weight class can win. Just things need to go their way.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I
everybody's
agree.
going to be like Gwiz Gable final, right? And that's probably 90% of the time going to be the outcome.
Yeah.
But we see it time and time again, guys who shouldn't get spots get it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just like you said, Kirk could possibly beat Mason. You never know,
Yeah.
and could go on a run. Like it happens every year, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Frank Molinaro wasn't supposed to
Yeah.
be our Olympian in 2016, but It happens.
I don't want to say it, but I know everybody was hyping up AJ Ferrari before nationals, but if he does get on a
Yeah.
hot streak,
Hey, I like him, man.
yeah,
I
I like
like
him
him.
too. Like I know we were all talking about him grabbing that dude's dick during the dual meet, but talking to
Yeah.
Gable Steveson like that. But at the end of the day, he knows what he's doing. I think most people know what he's doing. He's just trying to grow his following so he can start a brand. NCAA is
Yeah.
changing the rules. You can make money off your stuff right now, and he's went from 20,000 to 50,000 followers now, and he's verified.
Yeah.
Like
He's a stud,
yeah,
man.
he's doing something right.
Personally, he was my favorite wrestler this year at the NCAAs, besides Mason.
Yeah,
Besides Mason, he was
yeah,
definitely. I like his swagger. It's funny.
yeah. Mason had crazy impressive showing too. It's just like when you get to the finals, it's like, but considering
Yeah.
that he didn't place at the last tournament he was at as a
Yeah.
5 seed,
Exactly.
like that has to be weighed out.
He trained hard, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Perspective is hindsight's 2020, but yeah, like you said, he didn't even place before, and now he's
mm,
a finalist.
yeah,
It's
and
his second
that's
year.
that's rare to happen. And even if you
Yeah.
go back
It is.
to freshman heavyweights, like all the greats didn't place that high on a podium. I remember Zach Ray placed fourth, then won it his junior year. Tony
Yep.
Nelson placed seventh as a freshman, won it the next 2 years. Nick
Mhm.
Wisdowski, people don't even remember he was at Binghamton as a freshman. He placed eighth in the
Yep.
country. And
Yeah. And
then,
then won it.
yeah, he was, and you can say that, but like if that match against Kausner was wrestled 10 times, I would say most of them go in Gwiz's favor right there.
Yeah. Same. I'm happy he didn't though. Like I said,
Yeah.
I love Snyder.
Yeah. I
Big
mean,
match.
I'll be honest. The one that kind of made me sad was Adam Kuhn in 2018. You know,
Really?
it sucks. No, like it sucks to see a guy of that caliber go out like that, just never win the title. And that's no fault of his own. He lost two 1 point matches to, I think we can say, the two greatest heavyweights we've seen roam the college ranks at this point.
Yeah.
And he
Gable's.
was injured his junior. Yeah, Gable is not done with his career.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he lost it. I was watching the post match interview. I don't think you may have seen that, may have not, but he said, "I don't like the results, but I can accept them because I went out on my terms."
Yeah. He did.
But
He didn't
yeah,
quit. He was hurt.
yeah, and I low key cried after that. Like I felt so bad. Like I
Dang,
know that
man.
sounds
That's
weird to say,
crazy.
but like he was like legit my favorite wrestler because there's two things you can like to see. It's like which is more entertaining, cows watching Spencer Lee just dice people up technically and just turn them at will, or watching Gable Steveson drop a dude on his head.
Gable for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Heavyweights better.
I know there was this whole controversy about the Hodge too. It's like, and that's
Yeah.
always gonna be biased towards lightweights.
Which sucks.
Yeah, I know.
I agree. I mean, I think there should only be one Hodge winner
Yeah,
still. Like that's my
I still would say that Gable should have won that. That's for the sole fact that people were saying Gable won a watered down weight class.
what? It was
Yeah,
tough this year.
and it's gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings when I say it, but there was one guy who won a watered down weight class, and that was Spencer Lee.
Oh yeah, he did. We all know it. Cornell wasn't there, Princeton wasn't
Yeah,
there.
it's like,
A lot of the guys weren't there. So
yeah, and that's at the end of the day. It's like Lee had one more pin. Gable had. There's 5 wrestlers at heavyweight qualified for the Olympic trials, right?
yeah,
One of them didn't even make it to the blood round,
right.
and that just speaks to depth. Like Spencer Lee is the one who's qualified, and he just gets an automatic bid, right?
Yeah,
Nobody else at 125 is qualified for the trials.
it's weak. It's young. It's
Yeah, and that's just crazy to think about. Like, I know everybody's bringing up the 2 torn ACLs, but you walk back to 2011, Anthony Robles.
yeah,
With that precedent being set, if they gave Robles the Hodge, maybe, but they didn't.
yeah. And in my opinion, like I know personally, in this it doesn't matter what division. Lots of us wrestle, and lots of us win
Mhm.
with bad injuries. And I know it
Yeah,
sucks to say, I'm not trying to take away from Spencer Lee, but like personally for me, like when I wrestled Tanner Farmer, I tore my ACL and my LCL, and that's why I was wearing the bandage on my knee.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but I know it's not. I'm not the only one. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But it's for me, it's like kind of publicity stunt a little bit. And yeah, he did get hurt, but it doesn't really matter. If you know how to wrestle, you know how to wrestle.
Yeah.
And Gable deserved the Hodge, man.
Yeah.
And
You
it's
know,
weird.
I wanted to go out and say that, but then I just look like an asshole. If I say
Yeah,
something, I'm like, the torn ACLs don't matter. It's like, because for all you know, Gable could have been going through a bunch of injuries also.
yeah,
He
it
just
just
didn't
doesn't.
say anything. Because then he
Yeah,
tries to carry around like these. He's like this. I don't want to say like prima donna, but he's like he carries himself around like because he knows he's the best, right?
yeah,
Last thing
he
he wants
does.
to do is let people know he's injured, and then this may be their one shot to come at him.
Yeah, man, I agree. That's also what I love about Gable, man. He's also one of my favorite wrestlers. He acts good and he is good, and
Yeah,
it's great.
yeah. No, again, I know people come at him about the cockiness and everything, but at the end of the day, like until somebody can do something about it, it's irrelevant.
It is irrelevant. I think I don't know. I like swagger. I like wrestlers who have swagger. That's why I like AJ Ferrari,
Yeah,
Gable. I
I
love them.
know people were coming at AJ too, and like it's crazy that he won a title as a true freshman, and he could literally go down as one of the all-time greats in college wrestling, and people are still hating on him.
I know. I I can see it. I can see him becoming a four timer. Honestly,
He can be a
he's so good,
five-timer.
man. Oh crap, that's right.
Yeah.
This year,
Hmm.
I keep forgetting that this year just doesn't count.
Him and Carter Starachi from Penn State can be five, or the only ones.
Man, that might be my least favorite national champ, man. I don't really vibe with Carter Starachi. I
Really.
don't know why. Yeah, I
Uh,
don't not a big fan of his.
Even as a Penn State fan, I think there was one guy I counted out from winning, and that was Starachi, because he lost to Kemmerer 7-1 the week before, 2 weeks before our Big
I
Tens.
know. Yeah, what the heck, Kimmer? I don't understand. For me, it's something I was thinking about, and I'm sure lots of wrestlers think about this. Is like, I mean, I get it. Like, you can game plan and stuff, but I feel like there has to be something mentally wrong with like Kimmer, like his planning and his mindset
Mhm.
because that shouldn't happen. Like, you shouldn't lose to someone you beat 7-1, or if you
Yeah,
it should.
100%.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's
It's
something's going
like
on there.
at the end of the day, to be a four timer, most of the time you need a little bit of luck. You
Of
know,
course, yeah,
except unless you're Kale Sanderson, like this god who just handled everybody
yeah,
every year, right?
yeah.
Like even
He's
Logan
smack.
Steamer got just gifted low key in that
Yeah.
final against Jordan Oliver, right?
Hmm.
At the end of the day, if you talk about Logan Steamer becoming a four timer, you don't see people talking about JO was robbed and this and that. Maybe he was, maybe
Yeah.
he wasn't, but again, it's not going to hurt his legacy.
It's not. He's a four-time national champ forever. It doesn't matter, and he's world champ. So
Mhm. And actually, I wanted to just get your opinion on this. So, United World Wrestling is releasing a documentary on Rulon Gardner.
mhm.
Just what's your thought on that match?
Yeah.
I don't know how to start this question.
The finals match where Rulon won.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where yeah. Man, for one, I'm just not a big Greco fan, and that match is like a for me, it's like the epitome of what's wrong with Greco. Like the way that match was won.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know, man. I think as much as like I want to say like I want to love Rulon Gardner and stuff like that. It's just it's so hard for me to like feel like those type of matches are super legitimate or even interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, he won, he did, but just
I
not.
know.
To me, it's just not that interesting.
What's it called? Like even if you're watching a lot of Greco matches, obviously you know who Mijan Lopez is from Cuba, right? Going for his
Yeah,
fourth Olympic gold medal.
yeah,
And Kale from Turkey, right? Those two guys have cemented themselves in a class of their own, right? Look at these normal Greco
yes,
matches at heavyweight. Most of them, people were like, "Oh, Rulon only won by a point because he stalled." Like He won by a point, yes, because Karelin broke the clinch. But again, I'm gonna call BS any day that the greatest wrestler of all time didn't know about a rule change when it was a
Yeah,
situation you're gonna get put in. Like you get put in the clinch, and the person to break the clinch would give a point for fleeing the hold, because that's essentially what that
yeah.
was. But at the end of the
So
day, Rulon kind of gassed him out at the end. Like, and
he
Karelin
did.
said it
He made
himself in the interview that I made an unfortunate mistake, but I did not have the strength to continue and change the course of the match.
damn.
And
I did not know that he said that.
yeah, I think he was in the one of the interview because I've been posting like IGTV videos of like I just screen record
Yeah,
stuff on YouTube at this point, but he was talking like it's crazy that he carries himself at such a high level and that if he never really he said to this day I don't know how to comment on the match and you just have everybody else out there going to make excuses for him. It's like it's not like Rulon came out and bragged about the match or anything, right? Like
yeah.
obviously he turned into like a celebrity afterwards for the sole fact that like you beat the greatest there ever was in the sport. You know, unless
Mhm.
Lopez wins his fourth, I would have to give it to him.
Yeah.
I think it's close, but
Yeah. I think it's close too. I think Lopez has to wrestle that Turkish guy, right?
yep. And he
Probably.
he teched him 2016.
Oh,
He was 6-0,
oof,
yeah. And then he caught something at the end.
dang.
Yeah.
So
I think
yeah,
the problem with this is there's no accurate way to judge because again there was a controversy about him throwing matches for money in the world finals and all that, and then he would lose to Riza Kale from Turkey like every time, right? And then
yeah,
the Olympics, he was like, okay, and then he just comes out there and dominates.
yeah. I mean, he's yeah. Honestly, I'm not surprised. Any of those like Cuban, Turkey, Russia,
Mhm.
any of like they probably their systems are probably a little bit different than ours.
Yeah,
It
and
makes sense, you know.
that's just truly sad to see because his legacy will just never live up to Karelin just for that sole fact.
Yeah, he hasn't won a
Like,
bunch of worlds
mhm.
along with his Olympics.
Yeah, before Olympics has only happened once before by Kiriichi from Japan, right? He would
Yeah,
be the first ever male wrestler to accomplish that. And
yep,
if you go male wrestlers, who's in the class of 3 Olympic gold medals? You have Satiev from I think Russia was, and then you have Karelin from Russia, right?
yep.
You know, if we talk about guys who could win 3 to 4 now, there's really only one guy in the talk, and that's Sajulaev.
Yeah, man. I I don't think Sajulai is gonna win though. Honestly,
You
I
don't?
don't.
You have Snyder
I
winning it?
hope. I don't think he's winning it. I'm calling it. I'm
You're
calling the big
calling Snyder
upset.
over Sajulaev? All right. I
Calling it.
mean,
Snyder takes out.
I try to be a huge Kyle
I
Snyder
think.
fan, but I don't know if if Sajulaev will ever lose in his career again.
You think so? You
I
think
think
it's
there's a
Khabib?
chance that Sajulaev will go 125 kilos in 2024 just to
He
cement
is a
his
big
legacy
dude.
as the GOAT. He was and people make excuses, I think, for Jaden Cox because Sajulaev was in the weight class 86 that year in the Olympics in
Hmm.
2016. But that
Yeah.
Sajulaev is nowhere near as good as the one we're seeing now.
No, and Cox got pinned actually at the Olympics that year.
Yeah.
He got pinned by. Yeah, he got dumped or something. I
Yeah.
remember that he got pinned good. He wasn't even
Yeah,
close to
it's
making it.
insane because I know again, like Cox, I think he was. People picked Bo Nickel to beat him in that final X match.
No way, man.
The polls went, I
I
think it was 75 to 25%, and that just seemed like Cox kind of went from the most underrated wrestler in the U.S. to like most overrated wrestler, if you could even say that at that point, because he
yeah.
teched his way through 92 kilos. It's been proven time and time again that non-Olympic weight classes aren't as good as Olympic weight classes.
No, that's why. Honestly, like I get it. Kyle Dake, man. I don't know. Like it's hard for me to believe he's gonna beat Burrows. I
Yeah.
know lots of people think it's happening, but I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I think.
I'll be honest. My pick was I had Isaiah Martinez beating Kyle Dake in that match, but
Dude, me too. Actually, I
did
love
you really?
Imar, man.
Dude, I'll be honest.
I
He's
do.
probably one of my most favorite college wrestlers of all time. His
Me too.
legacy is just gonna get so shit on because of Vincenzo Joseph, but he was probably the closest to being a four-timer you will get, except for like if you go back to like Dan Gable and stuff like that. He was 2 matches away
Yeah,
from being a
yeah,
four-timer, you know. And it's not like
but
Chenzo just beat him; like they were going back and forth every single year.
mhm.
He just didn't win at the
Except
right
for one
time.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's dang. Yeah, I love Imar. I always have ever since I saw like that To Hell and Back film on Flow. You know, he is definitely probably my favorite, and I'd say my favorite like Final X, even though Final X is kind of newer. My
yeah,
favorite Final X series was versus
you
Imar.
know.
That's
And I think the one thing said about that is he could have won the first match too.
oh yeah,
And
definitely.
like, yeah,
He just
you
got
know,
gassed.
I've said it again and again, but like, I will never pick against Burrows in a third match if that happens.
Yeah,
That's
because he does
just
have that.
yeah, like he said, third match is decided by heart, and he's proven it time and time again. Nobody has more than he does.
Yeah, he have you seen that King of the Jungle? I think there's like a little video of there's like a King of the Jungle
Yeah,
video of Burrows.
I think I've
And it's
seen.
like
Yeah, I think I've seen everything on Jordan Burroughs at this point.
yeah, and he it's just like that video just shows the best. Like man, he's a get he gets after it. And for that reason I don't know, man. I don't think Dick's got it in him to beat him three
Yeah,
matches or two matches in a row.
I think his will is gonna once Burroughs takes him down. Once his will is just gonna start going down after and after that.
I
Like
agree. I
my
think
fairy tale thing is because I picked Cow Dake to win like a while back, but then I started watching more and more of these, and I'm like, that just shows how less and less of respect I kind of have for him after all that. He's like,
he's
your time's coming. But Dake's 28. Dake's like 29 now. Like he's not any younger.
no, he's like 2 years, 3 years younger.
And it would be
He,
absolutely crazy if Kyle Dake and David Taylor never made an Olympic team. I
it's not
think
happening. David Taylor's making the team.
Gabe
He's
Dean is looking fantastic. He's looking like
he
he's
does look
peaking
for
right now.
he
Like
is
I
peaking,
think
but I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a chance.
I think he's my pick right now because I just don't think he's gonna let it slip. I do think he takes the Olympics. I think Yazdani, if he meets him in the final, is gonna be a lot closer of a match though.
Yeah, I love Yazdani also. You know,
Mhm.
Yazdani, he's amazing, bro. But yeah, I feel bad for that dude. If you have to
Yeah,
have David Taylor or even Gabe Dean in your weight class, bro,
Mhm.
they're different. They're on a different
yeah,
level from my opinion.
yeah. It's like Gabe Dean. He made a return. Like it's good. Like I'm so happy I finally got to see him get revenge over Bo Nickel.
Oh
And
yeah,
like
man, that's amazing.
I still will stand by that he was robbed in that national final. That was not a takedown, but you know, I
It's
think
okay.
I think he needed this match, and this match would literally, not
Gave
so
him
much of
confidence.
an accomplishment. It's just you're just like want to right all your wrongs before he might just retire at the end of this year too.
I see that happening. I see. I mean, Cornell's been posting a little series on YouTube, and yeah, Gabe just talked
Yeah,
about like
with
this year he just
with
wrestled because
yeah, hmm he was doing that with
and
wrestling changed my life. I think too. That's what
yeah,
that
yeah,
was.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
That
yeah.
dude's podcast is awesome. I think he was the reason I actually started this too.
Really, I haven't
Yeah,
listened to the Wrestling Changed My Life podcast too
yeah.
much.
I think I
Besides, like
listened.
Dean.
I think the Cornell one. I think he's partnering with Spartan Combat or something like that. They're all awesome at this point, And I think Bashmania too, because he has like these superior connections where he can just talk to whoever he wants,
Yeah,
and he's out
exactly.
here pulling Gable Stevenson to come in to talk to him like right after he wins the Big Ten title on a Zoom call. Like, if I had the ability to
Hey,
do that, like I have like 100,000 followers by now. But
yeah,
it
it's
is
gonna
what
take
it
time,
is.
man.
Yeah, I'm in this for the long haul though, so it's like it's all right. But
Yeah.
I don't even think we start talking about your college career yet. Wow. Um,
Oh yeah.
coming out of
It
high
happens.
school, no, you didn't wrestle, but you wrestled at these different tournaments like Fargo and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Every kid's dream when they in sports is to become a D1 athlete and then make it to the pros, right?
Mhm.
How many of them actually accomplish that? In the sport of wrestling, It's under like 0.2% that go D1.
Very few.
Now, I'm assuming with all the circumstances, you may have been a D1 talent, but again, you probably didn't have the ability to network and reach out to them at that point in your career.
That was you hit it the nail on the head. Like that basically is. I didn't have any Division One connections. Like I think maybe Chattanooga and Campbell reached out to me,
Mm-hmm.
but outside of that, no one really hit me up. Honestly,
Isn't what's his name? Kerry Collette still at Campbell?
Kerry Colette's at Navy now.
Now,
Actually,
was he just is he just switching schools all over the place?
yeah, he's just
Yeah,
going. Where
dude. I think if you had Kerry Collette as your coach,
it would have
that
been
that could
different.
that could have been something special. I know, but again, that's
I
all
don't
that's
know.
all retrospect at this point. So
It is.
yeah.
Oh well.
Oh, what stood out to you about Lindsey Wilson compared to any other school out here?
Mm, especially compared to other NAI schools,
Mhm.
I would say the environment. The wrestling room is amazing here. It's such a beautiful wrestling room. That was a big draw for me. Is just how like legit the wrestling room is. Um, the coaches really dedicated. Like they're both two really technical coaches, but neither one of them had any like crazy success in college or anything. Both of them state champs. That's it. Like they weren't amazing wrestlers. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But so the wrestling room, I really like the attitude of the coaches. Big pull for me too was that there was a lot of Kentucky kids here.
Mhm.
Obviously, with it being in Kentucky, and I'm from Kentucky, so it was just I was very comfortable, and uh, honestly, yeah, I was comfortable, and there's a great environment. It was so easy to talk to the coaches and the team, and I loved being close to home. Also,
Yeah, I think that was kind of the main thing for me. But again, my situation may be a little bit different because I wasn't nearly as successful as a wrestler as you were. I was kind of just fighting to get
yeah,
the opportunity to wrestle in college. This
yeah,
platform actually helped me reach out to. I got a chance to wrestle Division 2 level, which guys like me don't get the chance to do very often.
yeah, yeah,
And I was just looking for again a positive environment with coaches that were here to help me, just become better of a wrestler, rather than just treat me as like, oh, you're here, you're just gonna be. We need a practice partner for this guy, so you're just gonna be here, so he has somebody to practice with, but you're never gonna be
yeah.
on the starter on the team.
Yeah, that I totally feel you. Honestly, I had like when I came to college, I like had no like goals. I mean, I was like, yeah, I want to wrestle in college. I think that's a big reason I didn't like try to reach out harder to Division One schools either because I was kind of just like, yeah, I like wrestling, but um, not that much, and I kind of just wanted to do it in college, but I don't know. Like it wasn't like the biggest thing in the world for me at the time, and I just wanted, like you said, I wanted someone who cared for me, loved me, And so for me, the environment was much more important than the division of the school, and thankfully that helped me become pretty
Yeah.
successful.
So you're at Lindsey Wilson. I remember you were posting this thing on your story. It was like, did you attack the day or something like that?
But yeah, I just killed the weakness. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm
I
a,
remember obviously like every day, and then you were going on these like, what's this bull run you're talking about? Like these 4 mile runs. There's like a 4 mile like sprint or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so it's like out there, like on the road.
Hmm.
There's this sign that says Bull Run Street, and it's actually a 12-mile street. So uh, some days I'd run 4 miles, some days I'd run 8, 6, 10, 12, just depending on the day. But I was constantly running almost every day while I was wrestling. And like right now, I'm preparing for a marathon, so I'm running that almost every day too. So it's a gritty, grimy road. There's lots of hills. It's hot sometimes. It's really hot usually. You're super exposed. There's no shade. It's like it's a get after it run play. It's like where you got to go to get after it
Yeah.
when you want to run.
How much are you weighing right now, actually?
235 right now.
Uh,
Right now, 230,
are you
235.
cutting anything for the marathon? Or are you just trying to run out what you're at now?
I'm trying to cut like so at nationals this year. I was 248. Like that
Hmm.
was that's what I weighed in at was 248. So I'm about 13 pounds down. I want to weigh about 225 when I run. I'm gonna run an unofficial marathon on May 1st, and then I'm gonna look into like paying to run a real one somewhere else. But yeah, I'm looking to be like 225, 220. My diet's pretty clean right now. I'm just trying to get lean, just trying to push it, to be honest.
Yeah. No, what's your goal time for this? It was just like finish or
Finish, no goal time, none at
no goal
all.
time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that
gonna
kind of
suck.
just shocked me when you told me you were trying to run the marathon. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I I just want to finish it, man. I'm a
Yeah,
heavyweight, bro. I'm not
yeah,
a fast runner, but I do run.
yeah. It's like I remember our coach. We would do quarter mile burnout runs. And that was
Uh huh.
like the death of me in high school. It was like wow.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
so you're in your freshman season. Did you even have the
Mhm.
starting spot coming into college or?
No, no, I didn't. There was a guy named Raynell Brown who was over me. Um, he was over me for like 6 or 7 weeks. And then once you know how it goes, you get to college, you start practicing, you start
Mhm,
developing, your body gets stronger, you get a little bit better.
mhm.
He was beating me at first. Kid wasn't even All American, wasn't even top 20 in the country in the NAIA, you know. And he was beating me at first still, just because he was an older guy in college. Eventually, you know, I started doing extra workouts, just getting my body. I was maturing, and by the time I started maturing, a few weeks in, I started I started beating him pretty decently, and then I finally picked up the starting spot. And I think my first tournament was Midwest Classic, which is actually a D2 tournament. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, how's your guys' qualification process? Where you just have like regionals and then you have the national tournament, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it's basically the same as Division Ones. You have conference, and you get allocations based on the amount of ranked people in your conference.
Mhm.
So, for example, heavyweight this year, there were three ranked guys. You know, so we had the one, the three, and the four in my weight class. And so, if you place top three in my conference, you made it to nationals. So it just depends on how
Okay.
many ranked guys are in the weight class. Is
Uh,
how many guys can go from that
yeah,
conference.
I know that's interesting because the Big Ten had like seven this year,
Hmm.
and then you had Luffman, who was previously ranked sixth in the country, coming in eighth. So you had to pick up an at-large bid.
Yes, and we have at large bids also. So it's same, basically the same exact process.
So it's really only if like the one seed kind of throws.
Yes.
Yeah. So your freshman season, you're going into just like the postseason tournaments for the first time, like at the actual like the next level, right? If you'd call it that.
Yeah.
What were
Yeah.
your expectations for yourself going into this?
They weren't very good. I at conference I wrestled this guy from another school who beat me twice during the year, and he beat the crap out of me again at conference. And then I was like, all right, well, this is a good season. And but then I wrestled back for third. I didn't really think I was gonna wrestle back for third, but I did. And then I qualified for nationals. And yeah, nationals, man, I was just like, whatever. Like, I'm gonna train hard again, and I'm gonna, try and do my best or whatever. Didn't really have that big of goals. I just wanted to be an All-American. I ended up facing the returning national champ in the quarters, Demetrius Thomas, who actually ended up
Oh
wrestling for Pitt.
yeah, dude, he's a force. He, I think, was
Yeah, man.
one match away from making the trials too.
Yeah, he's very good. I lost to him 8-7. We had a battle, man. It was a good battle, man.
Wow.
That's probably up there with one of my favorite matches ever. I was I've never really been scared or nervous for matches, and when I got the opportunity to wrestle him, I was like, man, I'm coming after this dude's neck. And I did. I came hard, and man, he just got there was 10 seconds left in the match, and I was winning. I think 7-6. And he blast doubled me. He just started faking super hard, and he got me. And I was
Yeah.
like, man, but like I told you, I didn't really have too many goals that year, so I just was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And then I wrestled back and got fourth place.
Yeah,
And I mean, it was tough,
yeah.
but
So even getting on the podium as a freshman is insane. Because what was it? Demetrius Thomas is a was it junior at that point or sophomore? He
sophomore.
was sophomore, right? And then he transferred to Pitt the following season.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So he'd had a hell of a career.
He
I think
did, man.
he was an All American his senior year, but unfortunately, got taken away because COVID. And
Mhm.
2024, possibly he could make the Olympic trials. I don't know about an Olympic team, but
Yeah,
he can make the
yeah.
trials.
I think he'll get the trials eventually. I think
Yeah,
he'll make the trials.
because I think
Hopefully.
again, I think Wood did beat him because so he didn't need a chance to wrestle for a true second.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That Jordan Wood at the last chance qualifier looked like the Jordan Wood that almost beat Mason Paris at senior nationals. It didn't look like Jordan Wood we saw at the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
And
it's crazy.
I think, like I say, Wood's the 9 seed, right? He has Garrett Ryan in the first round. If he beats Garrett Ryan, which I think he will, he
Yeah,
could very well present Nick Gwiazdowski with some problems because he's one of those guys who makes you work for every single takedown you get.
yeah. I think so too. He's super technical and he knows how to scramble really well too. Even though people don't really know that, he can scramble amazing.
And Gwiz was literally known for scrambling in college.
Yeah,
So
literally.
that could, I do think Gwiz probably 10-0s him, but it's going to be it's not going to be super quick like people think it was. He's not just going to let you lock up a ace and just keep rolling them over.
No, I agree with you. I think it's tough.
If you saw that match with them, I'm pretty sure you did Mason Paris at Senior Nationals, right? If Wood didn't give up the 2 on that crotch lock, he wins that match.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Little positions win the matches.
Yeah.
That's a great thing.
Like Tanner Hall, like I'll say right now, I don't like the dude. I'm not a big fan of his wrestling style in general. He's one of those guys who like people like heavyweights just stall. Like that's like the epitome of that.
He is. He's kind of boring, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. And then like he hits a 7 seed. I think 7 seed's fine for him, but Gable Stevenson first round.
He's done. I think he's gonna go. They're doing wrestlebacks. I think, So he's gonna be going to barbecue probably, in my opinion.
I know Dom wants revenge at Tanner Hall too. So for that one match.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I remember he was in the interview. He was like, "I lost to Tanner Hall because I smacked him too hard," and I was like, "Damn."
I remember that he gave up a point.
And
I'd like to see Dom versus Mason.
Yeah,
that's a match I want to see.
Dom versus Gwiz?
No, Mason. Yeah.
Personally, again, I've said Dom is number 3 until proven otherwise. Given the way senior nationals went, I understand why Mason's the 3 seed, but Dom's also not a guy who's going to come out there and tech you. Like he knows how to keep close matches, right? And Paris being a volume shooter could either benefit him a lot or hurt him massively against a guy like Don Bradley.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if either of those guys tech each other 10-0. I wouldn't be like it could go like that.
Or have a 2-0 match, 2-0 match.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It can happen. I don't see how it's physically possible for Don Bradley to get dumped by Mason Paris. But I also didn't think it was possible for Tony Castillo to get dumped by Mason Paris.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Granted, those are 2 different calibers of dudes, but
Yeah, I mean, I felt it personally, man. Mason's dump it's tricky. Like it's really tricky, and I feel like I have a pretty good. It's weird.
I'm pretty sure the only people he can not hit that on are literally Gable because he's just so much of a freak athlete. Curry Fleet again is just so long and impossible to hit that on, right?
Yeah.
And Gwiz is he's the most technical of a wrestler this weight class has seen in a while.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd put him above Torvald Lognev. And people are going to be mad at me if I put him above Steve Mako too. But Mako, I'll be honest, I don't think he would survive in this class of heavyweights now.
I don't like Mako, man. I never did. It's just so boring.
Dude was literally built like round. Like I don't know how to say that without coming out of an asshole though, but like that's what he was, dude. And like if you saw Steve Mako versus Cole Conrad, I think 2006, something like that.
That was boring. I can never watch that match.
Yeah, I know.
I hate that.
Like I thought Kuhn versus Snyder in the national finals was boring, but like at the end of the day, that's like it was Snyder essentially stalling and waiting for his opportunities, and Kuhn trying to go upper body with him. That match with Cole Conrad and Steve Mako was literally just a stall fest.
It was horrible. I mean, I genuinely do not like him. I feel kind of bad for all of our reps. Honestly, whoever gets the heavyweight rep is man, Gino Petrashvili and Taha Agul are
Yeah.
just
And
they're
then what's the
different.
guy's name? Kasimboy Rakimov from Uzbekistan. I know Gable
Yeah.
wants that match back because he pinned Gable Stevenson with that lat
When do you
drop.
pin them?
Junior
Oh,
Worlds, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't wait for that. I do think I know it's weird that I've envisioned this, but like the only guys I could truly see winning a gold medal is Mason Paris. I don't know why, but I think that
Yeah,
dump may just work against those guys.
I think so too, man.
I think,
Mason, it's just I just him making the team though. It's
yeah,
gonna be hard.
yeah,
It's
I
gonna be
do
really hard.
think that everybody in this weight class is outclassed by Taha Agul and Gino Petrashvili. But again, we've seen guys go down before, so it's
I
who
would
shows
love
up
to.
then. I know Gino's beaten Taha the past couple years, but again, Taha won when it's most important.
It's this close.
Yeah,
It's super
it's
close.
it's I can't wait for that. Like I'll be honest, and again, I guarantee you people are gonna come at me because I picked Gable third or something like that in this weight class.
Oh man, I totally understand what you're saying
Yeah,
though.
you know, I wish it was okay to talk trash to foreign dudes. That would have been funny, but like you can't do that.
No, it's a little. It'll be seen a little too disrespectful, I guess.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
like that's the difference between like talking crap back and forth to Mason Paris that's one thing. That's just for publicity. If you say some Taha
yeah,
Agul, that's like you getting shot.
yeah, dude, man, it's. I don't know. I feel like you should just be able to do whatever you want as long as you're not, hurting nobody.
Yeah,
It would make it more interesting. I mean, we don't even hear nothing about Taha Agul or Gino Petrashvili
yeah,
when they're not wrestling worlds.
yeah, 100%.
Kind of stuff.
But yeah, so I think what was it? Your junior year, the national final is probably one of the most interesting matches. I think you've said that was
Probably
viewed as
my
the best
favorite.
match of your career by most people.
Yes, of course. I think it was the best match of my career because it was probably. I mean, I don't know what to call Tanner Farmer. Like, I don't know if he's the highest caliber wrestler I beat or not.
I
Honestly, so that's
would
what
say so.
Yeah,
I
I
think
would say
qualifying
so.
for the Olympic trials just because it's Greco, I would say still it is. I would still consider Tender Farmer the best
Yeah,
because
I
again,
agree. Yeah,
Schultz is a Greco dude, but how do you do in freestyle? How do you do in folk style? Like he did pretty damn well, fourth place finish. I would say
yeah,
he only
exactly.
lost to Cassiope because Cassiope wrote him out, and that's just a common theme you see freshmen getting ridden out on bottom. Like Kurt Fleet, I think could have very well beaten everybody's weight class if he didn't get ridden out on bottom, but
Mm,
that's and Gable could have beaten Kassar, didn't get ridden out on bottom. Paris would have beaten Sam
yeah,
Stoll.
bottom, the
Yeah,
bottom.
that's what it is. Again, it's an unfortunate matchup in the round of 32, Mason Paris versus Sam Stoll, but it happens. Sam Stoll
Yeah,
almost beat Gable Stevenson in the quarterfinals of Big Ten, so it's not
yeah.
too bad of a loss to have.
No, it's not. But yeah, I'd say Tanner Farmer match. It's definitely. I mean, it's my favorite match to watch
Mm,
too, and I
yeah.
I I don't know. He's a great wrestler, man.
Mm.
I think he could have. I mean, I honestly believe both me and him could have placed at the D1 national tournament at least at one point. You know,
Yeah, I think so.
I
I think 2019 would have been the year.
yeah, I think so too. I think 2020 would have been a little bit tough. Those guys were. It was just, or 2021. I mean,
Yeah,
just a
because
freaking
yeah,
amazing class, man.
Tate Orndorff, I think at the 21 seed was just plain disrespectful, but that's I'm happy
Yeah,
that he
man.
placed because this man had like so much shit against him because he was losing like 1 or 2 point matches, right? It's like when team
Yeah,
score is not an issue and you're a Greco dude and you're losing the match, what are you going to look for? Your throws, right?
yes,
And if he went for that and he pinned
yeah,
himself, it's like it's looked at so bad by the outside people. Like people don't realize if you're a heavyweight and you're on your back against the caliber of Tony Cassiope, you're essentially there's no point in bridging at that point. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
I
like would
actually,
you?
I actually wrestled Tate Orndorff from Greco
Yeah,
last year, 2 years ago.
how'd that go?
And he smacked me,
Yeah,
man.
he's
I
good. Like he doesn't look like because he just looks like one of those like those chubby dudes, but he's legitimately good of a wrestler. Like he can shoot below the ankles too. Like people don't expect that. Like
yeah, he's
people,
he's really good.
yeah. I know when people were saying attacking below the knee as a heavyweight was something special. Like now everybody can do that at the D1 level.
Yeah,
Like even these guys who
yeah,
are cutting to 285.
Yeah, you get one good shot and you do it.
Yeah.
I mean, personally for me, that's like kind of the only way I like to wrestle. I don't really
Mhm.
like upper body too much.
Yeah.
I don't really know why I wrestled Greco, but I tried.
Yeah. You
And
gotta do what you gotta do. Shoot your shot.
yeah, but Orndorff, man, he's a lot better than people think he is.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
mean, he showed it. He proved it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy that he plays just so people would shut up about that. And guys that people are like he avenged pretty much every loss except for Trent Hoger, who I think was just sort of better than him at that point.
I think so too. I sucks that Gary Traub is transferring now.
I don't.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a really good wrestler. I just don't think at nationals with the weight class that's evolving, his gas tank is going to have that much of an impact on his matches anymore.
No, he's one of my friends. I trained with him a little bit too. The same
Yeah.
place that me and Mason trained.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of met in the middle in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And man, he's a good wrestler, man. I
Yeah.
wrestled with him. Yeah, I agree. Like just wrestling him myself, yeah, gas tank's not enough if there's a lot of technique with it.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just
Because you saw that with him wrestling Kerfliet, right? It went bad to say the least.
yeah,
Again, Kerfliet's also one of these prodigies that's coming into the field.
yeah. Once Kirk gets like 20 more pounds on him or
Yeah.
15 more pounds on him,
Yeah.
man, he's great.
Yeah, because he tore his ACL too, and he lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I know
wholeheartedly
it's great.
think that the Kirk that we saw before the season started at the Ninety Line Wrestling Club cards, the one that teched Demetrius Thomas in like 30 seconds,
Yes.
he could very well win this weight class. But this Kirk now is like, it's possible. I wouldn't count it out, but it's what it is.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that, man. He destroyed
Yeah,
Demetrius.
and Yusuf Hamida too, who's a two-time All-American.
Yeah, U23 silver medalist too.
Yeah, and Hamida beat Cassiope at U23s.
Hmm.
I was severely doubting. I had Cassiope placed at seventh at the beginning of this year, just because it was just looking like he was going to get surpassed by everybody in this field. But then, now I'm starting to think Kamita just got that good.
Hamida is really good. Hamida is up at Michigan right now.
Yeah.
Cliff Keen and Mason said he's
Mm-hmm.
an amazing partner too.
Yeah.
He's a beast,
Yeah.
man.
It's like, mhm. Yeah, like Paris is
I'd
going to
love to
have,
fill up.
yeah. I think Coons probably, again, I don't know how that really works out with Coons just being a straight Greco dude, but
He's like their training situation as
mhm.
far as that goes. Yeah. I mean, when me and him trained, he talked about it a lot. He doesn't really get to train with that many shooters who are heavyweights. So
Yeah,
that's kind of what we train with.
yeah. You win over Tanner Farmer, obviously your signature win on your career. You beat a guy who made the Olympic trials. And
Yeah,
not many guys coming out of the NAI ranks or not even D2 or D3 ever get the opportunity to make the trials.
yeah, for
You just
sure.
had your senior season. I'm pretty sure you won your national final pretty handily, right?
Yeah, 6-3, three
Yeah.
takedowns, three waves.
I would consider that pretty handily, right? For a
Yeah,
heavyweight match, 3 takedowns to none.
yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah.
it was it wasn't the most challenging, to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
He was from Grandview, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Grandview, they're really good. He was a really good kid too, man. I think he was like 25-0 going into our
Mm-hmm.
match,
Yeah. I mean,
and
yeah.
he was ranked in the top 10
Mm-hmm.
at 220 last year in high school. He he was a freshman. I mean, it was just like I felt just like older and just better, and it's
Yeah.
just kind of like, and it was weird. It was a really good national tournament for me because I pinned my first 4 guys
Mm-hmm.
in the first period. Never did that before, so that felt nice
Yeah.
getting 4 pins.
Yeah.
And
That's insane just to think about, in general. But we talked about it. Your career is, is there any chance you will wrestle again?
I mean, it would not be in college if I did. It wouldn't be a college thing. But I mean, I'll be here for 2 more years. I mean, we have a RTC like here in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
So it's at my school. So I still train and stuff with the guys. So like if I was maybe like next year, maybe I might go to the U.S. Open, possibly. It just depends on how I'm feeling. I'm also a jiu-jitsu guy, so I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a while. So I actually have jiu-jitsu practice in a few hours, and so it just depends on how that goes. I'll probably start competing in jiu-jitsu now officially during the summer, and man, it just depends on life, you know.
Yeah.
But right now I'm thinking if I do wrestle again, uh, I don't know. It's like I would say it's a 20% chance that I get on the mats
Yeah.
again.
So, just in general, you've had it's just crazy like actually knowing how your career played out, just starting off as like just like a casual overweight kid, how most
Yeah,
heavyweights really are coming to the sport. You transformed yourself, didn't even have the chance to wrestle your senior year. Going to college, most freshmen don't even get the starting spot. You didn't.
yeah,
Freshman All American, and then you won out with 3 national titles, and you ended your career on top.
yeah, man.
You go down as one of the best NAI wrestlers, I think, ever.
Yeah, I hope so,
And
man.
yeah, it's like, that's just incredible the way, because people, you know, I think Anthony Casaro's best example of this, he only won one state title, only qualified for states once, only won one national title, only qualified for nationals once. And meanwhile, Gable's this prodigy out here who was bred to be like the best there ever is since he was young.
Mhm. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
literally named after Dan Gable.
yeah.
That's
He's the
why
man.
Casaro's legacy will always stand, because he beat one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think
I agree.
I don't know if that's entirely comparable, but again, you started off, not good, and
Yeah.
then you're out here, So the future, what does the future hold?
So yeah, for now, I mean, the near future, I'm going to Colombia for 2 weeks just to, go enjoy a new country and stuff. Then I'll be coaching for the next 2 years, getting my master's degree in human services and counseling. And then after that, possibly getting my doctorates or possibly just getting a coaching job. But you know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen in 2 years. So uh, and then like I said, I'll be competing in jiu-jitsu for sure. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
training guys here as much as possible. Just trying to get better, man. Running marathons and just I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to you know have some type of platform to where I can kind of be inspirational and motivational. I just spoke with our girls soccer team yesterday before their conference tournament. I had a really good speech with them. I'm going to speak with the trustees of my college next week, and it's just going to be basically trying to get as much speaking opportunities as possible to tell my story and tell how like wrestling impacted my life and stuff. So hopefully, man, I just get a lot of practice speaking, and hopefully I can, maybe like you want to make money with your podcast and stuff, and be able to. Hopefully, I get the chance to just speak and live the life
Yeah.
coaching and speaking. That would be my perfect life is
Mm-hmm.
doing those things.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yo. Honestly, if you just hit me up, I can help you get started with like a page and everything too.
Cool, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll hit you up then
yeah,
and
for
try
sure.
to start doing something.
Yeah. So, as we start to wrap things up, this was one of the most requested people. You want me on the podcast? 3-time NAI champion, 4-time NAI All American. Probably one of the most inspirational stories I've heard so far. I remember I saw the article about all that you've had to go through and where you are now. That's crazy to think about. You want to become a coach at the college level. That's
Mhm.
awesome. You're coaching at your former alma mater. I think that's what it's called, right? And it's just fantastic to see how things went down. So, thank you guys for listening to Late Night Shots podcast. It's been episode 70 featuring Brandon Reed, and we will see you guys again next time.